With over 250,000 concurrent viewers and $500,000 in prize money, last year's Game Changer Championships truly changed the game, breaking all previous records not only in Valorant but in all of female esports. November is here, and that means this year's edition is coming. Situated in Berlin, it hosts 10 of the best teams from all around the world, who will compete for an insane prize pool once again. The bar has been set so high in previous years that frankly, I cannot wait to see what this year is going to bring. As you can probably tell, I'm a bit of a fan. That's why I've decided to shine a spotlight on my region, EMEA. I want to walk you through why EMEA scene should be deemed the strongest going into this tournament, being the home of the Berlin 2022 champions G2 Gozen. I will walk you through 3 of our best teams, their stories, players, and the insane rivalries between them. Hopefully this video can serve as a GCC viewer's guide for EU fans, allowing you to pick who you want to cheer for the most. This year, the EMEA region is dominated by 3 teams: G2 Gozen, Falcons Vega, and Giant X GC. G2 Gozen won the first international championship back in 2022 with a star-studded roster, but changes and retirements affected them, having to rebuild around the XCS core, which inevitably led to some struggles, but still managing to place 3rd last year in Rio. Now is their chance at redemption to be the first team to win multiple international titles, with rosters built around returning 2022 champions Mimi and Petra. So far, they've managed to win all 3 EMEA regionals, becoming one of the favourites for the championship. The fact that illustrates their dominance the most is that they've only lost 2 best of 3s this entire year within the GC circuit. They bolster an all-star lineup: Mimi and Petra, the CSGO pros turned Valorant international champions, with Mimi now taking on that IGL role, Amy, a star-studded Sentinel controller flex player, Rescue, the young duelist prodigy, and then Vanya, the consistent fragging controller and highest rated EMEA player of 2024. Despite having returning champions and legacy players in Petra and Mimi, I want to focus more on the new dealers in Rescue. Having joined at the beginning of the year along with Amy and Vanya, this roster seemingly just couldn't put a foot wrong. A large contributor to the success was the ex-NIP foot support player turned G2 entry duelist. Before joining G2, Rescue only had 10 maps on duelist across her previous 2 teams. Not games, not series, maps. Historically, she'd always played the main Sentinel and Initiator in her prior teams, and it was only during a short stint on NIP last year where she even got to have the taste of playing duelist in VLR matches. Due to a rough start, many assumed that an aggressive duelist role didn't fit her as she struggled to get entry kills, often being the first to fall. Out of the games where she played as duelist on NIP, we can really see the struggles in the stats. Then comes G2, joins as a star-studded duelist and has a massive turnaround. Seemingly a completely different story to her entry hardships on NIP, she became unstoppable, with her debut match being a Swift 2 against MDK, going 39-24, but more importantly going 10-3 on the entries, repeating similar entry statistics across each GC EMEA split. Ending her first split as a fully dedicated duelist, she quickly became one of the top 5 entries in the region, but she didn't stop there. By split 3, no one could compete, averaging 0.29 first kill per round stat line, cementing her place as the best entry EMEA has to offer this year. If this is what 3 national titles under G2 does to a player, Rescue will definitely be a name to watch going into the Berlin Game Changer Championships. Not only with the likelihood of the kill feed being plastered with her name early on with the aggressive entry kills, but as she is the statistically highest entry Game Changer player in the world, even rivaling household Game Changer names like Rio 2023 champion Fluorescent, who has only averaged 0.25 so far this year. With such consistent firepower in the G2 house, the international teams won't know what hit them. The flashy duelist is here to stay and make her impact felt, whether it's on Neon, Yoru, Jet, or Raze. It spells trouble for the other players in the server. With such consistent firepower in the G2 house, the international teams won't know what hit them. While all eyes are on G2, there might be a dark horse story brewing in the EU region. Team Giant X GC have been struggling really to find true success for most of the year, ending up 3rd place in the first 2 regionals. This put them on the verge of not even qualifying to Berlin. The last split was going to decide their fate, but still, it didn't start well. A shaky group stage followed by falling into the lower bracket at the start of playoffs, they found themselves in a situation where they had to beat Falcons Vega for the first time, having lost to them 5 times already this year. This series seemed to be the turning point for Giant X, with the defeat streak staring them down. The veto played heavily into their favour regarding the first map as a confidence builder, Icebox, something G2 even prioritizes as a ban against them during the best of 5 finals. This was a dominating 3-2 victory, something they were able to replicate again in the lower finals against NASA Ignite with a 13-3, beginning the question of a possible Icebox era for this squad as they've been thriving on it within the EMEA circuit. Although it was just the first map, it was a confidence boost as the GX players were hitting, and this came into play when it was pushed to the third map, Ascent. There was little difference between the final scores of each player, which was a key factor in being able to beat Falcons and come into form when it was truly needed. This still did not guarantee the spot in Berlin, but put them into a position in the lower bracket finals with NASA Ignite for a head-to-head battle to qualify. Thankfully for the Giant X squad, they were able to break the curse of third place and advance to the LAN finals in Turkey against G2, but it also booked them their ticket to the Berlin 2024 Championships. Giant X is a relatively new roster, being signed February this year, fielding Sarah, a G2 duelist turned initiator IGL, Jelena, the controller Omen specialist, Miori, a Turkish sentinel coming into her first international team, and then Smurfette and Ness, the inseparable duo. Despite not being built around a legacy core, they still have managed to find success, at minimum reaching top 3 throughout the year. We have been seeing consistent improvement, and with the trajectory pointing up, there might be no bounds to what surprises they can bring, specifically for the championships. One of the key factors to their miraculous resurgence in the last regional was the dynamic duo from Turkey, Ness and Smurfette. This duo truly is ride or die. They have been together for over 850 days, with their first official under the guild banner back in 2022, to their time with the Turkish Titans of Foot, and finally to present day on Giant X. Their long-term inseparability makes them a very harmonious duo and easy to implement into any team, so it's no surprise that they all hit the ground running with a roster packed with so much experience and firepower. Throughout most of the year, Giant X was gate-kept out of the grand finals by their main rival, Falcons Vega, who had only lost to Giant X once in that lower bracket of Split 3. That is why for most of the year they were considered as an obvious number 2 in Europe. The success was not at all surprising due to the pedigree of some of the players on the roster. Mandvi, the Swiss Army Knife and Frag in IGL, Eva, the resident Sova expert, Toki, the Kase duelist turned controller, Sandra, a Geeko duelist turned sentinel flex, and then Mary, the G2 breakout rookie turned superstar. As you can see, Falcons really said if they can frag, we can teach them the rest, and I honestly can't argue as they seemingly have blended into their new roles seamlessly. Falcons was another team that seemed to be taking advantage of ex-G2 and ex-Game Changer Championship players, and it was a team that quite literally brought a player out of retirement to join their second professional Valorant team. Scouted by Giuliano back at the beginning of 2022, at the age of 16, Mary became a staple name in the scene. This is no understatement of a fast-track career for a 16-year-old prodigy, winning multiple EMEA splits, qualifying for the very first Game Changer International LAN, and then going on to win it, during which it was a clean upper bracket run that turned into a reverse sweep grand finals, where she ended the finals with a 1.3 rating, going 83 and 61. After a whirlwind of a year, Mary made the decision to step away from the competitive scene to focus on her mental health along with studies. This truly left a heartfelt hole, not only within the Game Changer scene, but the competitive one as a whole. She is regarded as one of the best, if not the best, female player to touch the game, and is a role model for many young women, especially in the MENA region. And I'm sure you can only imagine the community's reaction to her return. Although under a new banner of Falcons Vega, over a year out of competitive play, her skills seemingly fresh as ever. It was midway through Split 2 when Mary returned. With a re-debut game against Focus Sakura, she dropped a 1.44 rating and plus 18 over 2 maps. With the return of Mary to Berlin, where she was able to clutch a reverse sweep in the grand finals against then C9 White, core now Shopify Rebellion, it begs the question, who, if any of the returning 2022 champions, Petra, Mimi and Mary, will be the first to hold 2 international titles in Game Changers Valorant? I was lucky enough to get a chance to ask Mary a few questions about her time off, what it's been like returning, and how she's adjusting to playing with her new team, Falcons Vega.
Honestly, I think my passion towards the game and just esports in general. I've been playing professionally since I was like 13 years old. So I think it's just like it felt weird to just work a normal job, and like it just felt right to come back and continue my passion. I mean, honestly, it felt weird at first, but then like I felt excited because I was like, okay, this is gonna be like a whole new journey. As much as I hate to say it, but when I first joined G2, it felt like I was spoon-fed. Everything was just ready for me. And this feels just more of like a fresh start, where like I'm actually going through the losses, learning from the losses, and like not just being spoon-fed, hey, you should do this, and then I have my 4 other experienced players with me, So yeah, it's a humbling experience, I'd say. But it's nice so far, I like it.
Yeah, because like G2, you just kind of like, not saying that you don't deserve the wins, but like, yeah, you just came in and you just won everything. It's like going from, that was your first paid team well, right?
My second paid team,
okay.
And it was the first tournament I ever won. Like the championship, like if you think about it, the championship was the first tournament I ever won, which is like crazy.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, wow.
You honestly, I think you're one of the names that people look to, is like who's already completed their career, in the sense of you've won the most prestigious like game changer event in your debut year, and yeah, I think that's pretty sick.
It's crazy, trust me. Till this day I'm like, wow, how did I do that? I think it's better because if you compare school to university has more of a freedom, I'd say. School is more of like prison, like you can't really leave the campus. So yeah, I think university is so much different. The support, my professors, my university itself. So it's like very different. So like I think balancing this would be more of time management, just managing the time. And that's pretty much it. And I think I'm doing a very good job. I'm waking up early, finishing my classes, going back home. First thing I do is just practice. Once I'm done with practice, I also like to use the common hour in my university to finish up work. So it all goes back to time management. But if you go to a 16-year-old Mary, I don't think she knows what time management is, because all she did was sit and play. So yeah, we're learning. We're growing up. So yeah. I think I would say this is a very interesting question, because I never really thought of that.
That means it's a good question. All I'm saying.
It is a really good question. Like, to be honest, a 16-year-old Mary was just like hungry, Like right now I do feel hungry, but it's like I really need to like spark it again. Does that make sense? Because like as a 16-year-old, I was always all I was thinking of that trophy and just playing. But now it goes back to like the responsibilities I have and like so many other things. So it's just like more of like growing up. Like I'm a more mature, like I don't know. But when it comes to in-game, I'm still the same. I'm still the same Mary, which I really like. But yeah, outside of the game, it's so much different. I guess 100%. What I'm focusing on right now is just like my own performance and how well I want to perform in this tournament, and I want to be able to give like 150%. So
yeah,
that's my main focus right now. But yeah, like 2025, definitely, I love the scene, and it's getting like more competitive, way more competitive than I first ever won my championship. So it's really nice now. Makes you want to work harder, which I really like.
Yeah, 100%.
For now, I think I've given 70%. I still have more to give. I know, like stage 3, I wasn't performing that well, and I'm gonna make sure that's not gonna happen again. And as in for our team, I think 50%. I think we have so much potential. If we just, like, if luck gets on our side, and like we all spark, we're gonna destroy everyone. I don't doubt that. I mean, honestly, like, focus on your goals. Make sure you just have goals and what you really want to do. And don't be scared to like go out there, to be honest. Like I tried to take the first step, and I'm sure other girls will also continue my footsteps. So I'm really hoping for that. I'm spending all my spreading all my love and positivity to them, you know, to the MENA girls. And of course the game changer scene. You know, we don't just want to like stay in the scene, we want to be able to play in mixed teams. So I honestly think is the future of competition, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Now you know a little bit more about the teams representing EMEA and some of the players I'm excited to see on the international stage, whether it's returning or making their debut. The brackets have been set, preparations are in full swing, and the hype is building, and I, for one, cannot wait. My pickems have been set over on VLR. Please let me know in the comments if yours are different, who you're expecting to win, and if there's any dark horse teams from different regions you're looking forward to seeing compete. I hope you've enjoyed this type of content from me, and make sure to like this video if you've gained more of an insight into the Game Changers championships, specifically from the EMEA players aspect of it, and you want to see more. Okay, yeah, that's it, I think.